Hi, this is Lake Geoduck from the forums. Today I want to try to show you a little bit on how I aim. As we all know, when you shoot, you have to find an anchor point, and it's different for each person, but once you find your anchor point, you try to stay consistent with it. And depending on if you're shooting on, like for me, if I'm shooting over the top or through the fork, currently shoot through the fork, it'll depend on where my anchor point is, because usually when I shoot over the top, my anchor point's closer to my eye line. It doesn't matter how far I pull out, it's closer to my eye line. And when I shoot through the fork, it's closer to my lip line in the lower part of my cheek. So like I said, it doesn't matter really how far you pull, as long as you keep that line constant, and then you find a point that you always reference when you go back. Another key thing that I found that many people said that is to make sure when you pull that your forks are lined up and down, perpendicular to the ground. So even if you shoot full straight up, the line is still up and down. No matter if you pull forward a little bit, you're not canting the forks either this way, or if you're gangster style or horizontal shooting, you're not shooting it either this way or this way. That's the key point. It's not like this, or when you're shooting, that you're not twisting it too much. Another thing that I've tried, and people adjust it, people do it differently, like I said, but a lot of people, when they pull, no matter if you twist the pouch or not, when they pull, people say it doesn't really matter where you put this up. When you move this, you just move your fork up and down to your target. But I find that sometimes it's a little inconsistent for me. So what I try to do is when I pull, is I keep the pouch basically centered between the forks, even if it's over the top, at least in the middle line of the forks. So I'll go out, pull out, and I'll keep that pull center. And then once I draw, then when I do adjustment to the aim, I move my whole body, my upper torso. So at all points, at all times, I will keep my pouch basically in the center between the forks. Like this. This is a drastic movement, but basically that's all that I do. And then if I have to move left and right, my whole body, I don't do it like this. I move my whole body. And then this way, if my target isn't exactly, if I'm not exactly lined up to the center of my target, if I'm a little bit off, all I have to do is move my body, and I'll always remain that. And like I said, that even goes for over the top. Even though over the top you're not going between the forks, you will be still in that center line, this imaginary line of the forks. So what I want to do is try to shoot. I have two targets set up there. I'm not sure if you can see it. One's a can and one's a little my steel shoehorn. And I want to line myself in between it and then alternate between the two shots. But like I said, by moving my whole body, upper portion. I leave my feet planted. I don't move my feet around too much. I leave it planted until I get, once I get my original setup, I stay there, and then move my whole torso, sort of like a turret. So let's see how I do on this. Let's do it. I'll count those 2 shots as my warm-up shots. Make that 3 warm-up shots. Alright, just hit the horseshoe. Now I'm going to go aim for the can, okay? So, see, I moved over, even though it's slightly. I mean, when you're shooting, the further you shoot, slight movements make a big difference by the time the ammo goes there. Gets there. You can make a inch movement, and your ammo could be a few inches off to the target, depending on how far you're shooting, from. Okay, I just hit the can again. I want to try for the shoehorn again. I was a little bit off on that. There you go. Another thing, especially, well, particularly for through the fork, when you draw, to make sure that you're aligned from left to right with your pouch. You're basically looking at your top band, and make sure that your bottom band and the top band are one. If you go too much, you'll see the bottom band. So basically, you're trying not to see the bottom band when you're aiming to your point. So hopefully I explained that a little bit enough to help some of you guys, and we'll go from there. See, hopefully you guys improve like I'm improving a little bit better. Obviously, when I'm on camera, I tend to have missed shots, as we all do, but I'll leave them in there. But I think I made my point across, and I'll talk to you guys on the forum. Peace. Thank you.